we're going to be going over what the biggest trolls ever have been in My Singing Monsters, and I'd stick around as it might not be exactly what you'd expect. At number 5, we have No New Wordos being on Water and Earth Island. Originally, before Paul Sona released on Water Island, we were expecting for there to be a new Wordo across both Earth and Water Island. It was long theorized by the community that this would occur, and when in fact it didn't, and Paul Sona arrived on April the 1st, there was quite a bit of backlash as to whether this was an April Fool's joke, but no, it was indeed Paul Sona arriving on Water Island, and it did turn out that both Talker and Paul Sona came onto another natural island to that of Stewart and Magpie, which is still a really weird occurrence. I felt like for sure they wouldn't do that, and that they'd add one more new Wordo across both Water and Earth, so they'd cover that ground and there wouldn't be Paul Sona and Talker appearing once more, but no, they literally added it, and it was such a weird occurrence that even though it wasn't a troll, it kind of was, as it wasn't what the community was expecting, and it may definitely be this one not really classable as a troll, but in my eyes it certainly was, as until we got that clarification this was indeed a real thing that was happening, there was lots of moments where the community was very confused by what was going on in game, and it was a really fun moment to be around in the community, I do think. At number 4, we have Psychic Island, and this may definitely be something where you are like, are you sure, MPG, this is not further on the list? No, trust me, we do have more coming up. Psychic Island was initially released as Fire Frontier all the way back in 2019 in Anniversary Month, and when we got Fire Frontier, we had no idea the Psychic monsters were going to be coming. There was absolutely no indication that they would be coming, and in fact, there was a huge contest held to decide the elements that would be put in game for what would later become Psychic Island. The contest was held, and people were arguing whether there should be an air element on the island in replace of the psychic element where it is now, or cold, and everyone was getting into a frenzy, and it did turn out that cold did indeed have the most votes going by everything off of social media. However, there was quite a bit of confusion here too, as it was quite apparent that Big Blue Bubble would have issues in implementing this in game by the end of Anniversary Month like they were proclaiming to do. And later on we did indeed find out that this was because all along they had planned to add the psychic element as a surprise at the very end of the month. This is by far one of the best trolls ever. It introduced the Magical Islands, which of course are a key set of islands now in the game, and we certainly couldn't be living without them, so it was very good that they did add Psychic Island in the very end, but the fact that they went out there and did this troll was very scheming of them, I do think. And no one was expecting this huge turnaround at the very end of the month, and I think even though this was a huge troll that they did, everyone was just so happy by it, and it just comes to show all the trolls that they do, everyone seems to be happy with most of the time, as we will get onto there are a few occurrences where that isn't the case. However, we do love as trolls and them surprising us through those. At number 3, we have Epic Wubbox. Oh my goodness. For years, it was proclaimed that Epic Wubbox would never be coming into the game by the developers. However, then this year, only just last month, they did indeed add Epic Wubbox, and they proclaimed for so long, for years and years, they would not add an Epic Wubbox, and that yet here we are. Even in the trailer just before Epic Wubbox released, it was said that the file wasn't found for Epic Wubbox, and that did tie into the theory that Epic Wubbox would never be a thing. There were tons of teasing behind Epic Wubbox actually coming, with the structure only being on Plant Island, and despite all the teasing, it just seemed like it would never happen. They said it would never happen, yet here we are, and that just comes to show why you can't trust Big Blue Bubble when they say things aren't happening and such. And all these contests and things they held for Elements and Epic Wubbox, it just comes to show you've got to expect the unexpected out of My Singing Monsters, and that is great because we love surprises, and them surprising us keeps the game fresh and alive, and we do love how these trolls do go down in the end for the most part. However, that brings us in to number 2, which is Dawn of Fire's upcoming island. This island was teased ever since the release of Party Island, which is insane to think about, as tons of years passed while it was in game. In fact, 3 years passed while this notification banner was in game saying a new island would be arriving sometime soon. And in fact, it just never came. It was 3 years down the line and this coming soon island never arrived. And it is such a shame that Dawn of Fire never got this island, as new islands in Dawn of Fire are just something else. And even though My Singing Monsters has its own branch of islands always Monsters ever releasing, Dawn of Fire having a new island would have been a fabulous experience, and I really do hope we see another one in the future. This island is the most time-strenuous island we have ever waited for. By far, if this ever does release, it will have been years and years since we have been waiting for this island, and I do think that they may add it one day. There has been hints here and there that they may look into adding it sometime in the future. Not anytime soon, but sometime. So I really do hope that's the case, and indeed, if it is added, that will indeed be a massive troll, no doubt. But that brings us in to number 1. What on earth could number 1 be? We've been over an island, Epic Wubbox, what could it be? Well, this is completely my own opinion right now, but when the Epics first released, I believe that this was the biggest troll we have ever received. When the Epics were initially released, we got a ton of trailers behind the Epics proclaiming that a new monster class of sorts was coming down the line, and it was teasing them as though it was quite a big event. This, it wasn't ever specified that these would be variants. It was always the case that the company was going out of the way to try and tease these epic monsters. So when eventually the announcement did come and we saw an epic for the first time, this was indeed the biggest troll I think that I've ever seen personally. And people might disagree, and of course everyone's opinions on this list are going to be different, but for me this moment was just so trolling. They revealed an eye to be opening. Now, if you guys know, the biggest thing I want from My Singing Monsters of all is the Colossals to awaken and contribute to the song. That is the biggest thing that I want from My Singing Monsters. But when this eye did open, I initially speculated that this would indeed be a Colossal. And was I wrong? It turned out to be Epic Noggin, a weird close-up of its eye, which honestly is really weird, and I don't get why it was done. It made it out to be something it wasn't, and it created a lot of tension, I feel like, and a sense of what on earth is going on at this moment, because no one understood what these epics were at the time. So when they actually did turn out to be variants when Epic Noggin and Furcon were released, I was a little bummed out. I don't know how other people felt about it, but I was certainly very bummed out by this situation. So I would rate this as being the biggest troll ever in My Singing Monsters. But I am going to leave this to you. Do you have any more troll moments in My Singing Monsters where you think they have trolled us, or do you agree with my list? Definitely let me know down below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to leave a like if you did, and make sure to subscribe too, guys. I will see you later. Bye!